This is a tour of cabin 10438 on Carnival Celebration, which is a Category 8C balcony cabin. This cabin has a lot going for it, including an excellent location about halfway between the midship elevators and the aft elevators, which means it's a very short walk to get to most of the places you'll want to go on this ship. Another really great thing about all the cabins in this part of the ship is that they have a very large balcony. While the balcony is the same width as most cruise ship balconies, it's about twice as deep as a lot of the balconies I've been on. And it's interesting that this is not even what Carnival calls an extended balcony cabin. Those cost more. This cabin, with its big balcony, is just priced as a standard balcony cabin, Category 8C. For our December 22 cruise, the basic cruise rate for this cabin was $2,056, and there were taxes and fees and other charges of $292, plus we prepaid the mandatory gratuities of $203, bringing us to a total of $2,551 for my wife and I, which seemed pretty reasonable to me, considering that this is Carnival's brand new ship. Now remember, the price that you pay to book this cabin may be quite a bit lower or quite a bit higher than the price we paid. It's just going to depend on what time of the year you decide to go. Cruising during the summertime or during holiday periods are always the most expensive times of the year to cruise. Anyway, back to the tour. The bed was comfortable enough, and there was room underneath it to store all of our empty suitcases. On each side of the bed, there are reading lamps, and right underneath each one is a USB charging port. But I was really surprised to see that Carnival didn't bother to put regular electrical outlets beside the bed, only USB, which is too bad because there are things that you might want to plug in and use on the bed which don't run off of USB connectors, like a laptop computer or a CPAP machine. So bring an extension cord with you that will reach across the room to the power outlets at the desk. There are 3 of them at the desk and 4 USB charging ports. There's a refrigerator under the desk, and a hairdryer is inside one of the desk drawers. The mirror at the desk lights up, which is helpful if you're doing your hair or makeup there. One thing I forgot to mention is that the cabins in this part of the ship are recessed back a bit, so if you go all the way out to the edge of your balcony, you'll actually look down onto the balconies below you and onto the folks working on their tans down on deck 8. If it happens to rain, part of your balcony is nicely protected by this overhang above. And another overhang at the top of the ship offers even more protection from the rain and the sun. Here's a pro tip for you. I bring a little battery-operated indoor-outdoor thermometer with me. I place the outdoor sensor in a shady spot on the balcony, and that way, from inside the room, I can get a readout of the precise indoor and outdoor temperatures. The bathroom is small. I would describe it as adequate for a normal-sized person and better than some cruise ship bathrooms I've had, but I bet you won't like it if you're an especially large person. I wish they had made it just a bit bigger, but it was okay for me. I did like the shower, although it too is a bit smaller than I would prefer, but I like that they provide shampoo and shower gel, and that the height of the shower nozzle can be adjusted up or down, and it can also go handheld too. And there's a little rail for the ladies to use to prop up a leg for shaving. It's also nice that it has a glass door instead of a shower curtain, and that there's a line you can hang swimsuits on to drip dry, or a hook if you just have one item to dry. The smart thing they did in the bathroom was build in a nightlight. When you turn off the bathroom light switch, the lights go into nightlight mode. There's also an electric outlet in the bathroom. That was perfect for charging my electric razor. The closets in this cabin were some of the nicest I've ever seen on a Carnival ship. There was lots of storage space, and the shelves could fold away if you wanted to hang something long, like a formal outfit. And there was an easy-to-operate safe, and I like these little baskets that could pull out for easy access. The room also features a nice little sofa that opens up into a small bed for a child. When I first started cruising, I used to just book my cruises directly with the cruise line. But as I became a more experienced cruiser, I came to realize how much better off I was to book through a travel agent. And I'd like to suggest that you do the same. In fact, feel free to use the same travel agent that I do, Caitlin Gallagher. Give her a call or send her an email, and she can explain why booking through a travel agent is the smart way to book your next cruise. Back to the cabin tour. While the television in the cabin didn't get any of the major networks like ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox, it did offer movies on demand, and quite a few of them were offered at no additional charge. The internet access from this cabin and all throughout the ship was some of the best high-speed internet access I've ever had in a cruise ship. I had Carnival's premium internet package, and it worked really well. I ran a number of speed tests during the week on both my laptop and on my phone, and most of the time I was getting download and upload speeds of about 60 megabits per second and 700 millisecond ping times. I was able to watch YouTube videos and even upload a few videos to YouTube and Facebook without any problem. It was some of the best internet access I had ever had on a cruise ship. And when I booked this cruise, I was able to take advantage of a special promotion that they were running at the time. They threw in that internet package at no additional charge. I mentioned earlier that this cabin is located about halfway between the midship and aft elevators. That was a really great location because when we wanted to spend time at a pool, all we had to do was walk down the hall and walk down 2 flights of stairs, and we were on deck 8 at the back end of the ship, where there is a really nice pool and sun deck. And just around the corner are 2 hot tubs, a bar, and a bathroom. This is where we ended up spending a lot of time during our cruise, relaxing here in this quiet area, enjoying the warm Caribbean weather, and cooling down in the pool. It reminded me very much of the Havana pool and sun deck on Carnival's Vista class of ships, which I consider as one of the best ideas that Carnival has ever come up with. But as you might know, to have access to the Havana pool and sun deck on the Vista class, you have to spend a lot more to be in a Havana cabin, and they are expensive. So when I got on board Carnival Celebration and saw the pool area at the back of Deck 8, which was super easy to get to from our cabin on Deck 10, I realized that we had a lot of the advantages of a Vista-class cabin at a much lower price with our balcony cabin on Carnival Celebration. Other things that were really easy to get to from our cabin include center stage, where a lot of the big shows take place. The midship pool, which is the fun, active pool in the heart of the ship. The Tides pool, the quieter pool at the back end of Lido Deck. Almost all of Carnival Celebration's restaurants, including the main dining room and all the casual dining options like the buffet, Guy's Burger Joint, the Pig and Anchor restaurant, the pizza place, and many others. They were all extremely easy to get to from our cabin's perfect location halfway between the aft elevators and the midship elevators. If you appreciated this video, please click on the thumbs up button to let YouTube know that it's a good video that they should recommend to other people. And consider becoming one of my channel's patrons. My patrons make a small donation each month, which I use to fund some of the expensive aspects of running my channel, like the camera gear, and the travel costs. And in return, patrons in my 2 top tiers get some perks, like early access to my videos before they go public. But mostly, my patrons just appreciate what I'm doing here on YouTube, and they want to make sure that I'm able to keep the ship afloat, even in the face of declining ad revenues from YouTube these days. Go to patreon.com/JimZim to find out more about becoming one of my patrons. Right now, I'm putting links up on the screen to a couple of other videos I made about Carnival Celebration. Click on one that looks interesting to you if you're up for watching another video. I'm Jim Zim. Thanks for watching.